Hey, what's up, hikers? If you're hiking the John Muir Trail starting at Happy Isles, there are a few different routes and side trails in Yosemite that you can choose from. This includes the Mist Trail, obviously the John Muir Trail, Half Dome, and Clouds Rest. I've done most of these, but I'm still deciding which way I want to go this year. The first thing to decide is which way to go out of Happy Isles to get to the top of the Mist Trail. You can obviously take the John Muir Trail straight up, but there are also a few options between the Mist Trail and the JMT. There's a cutoff about halfway up, also known as the winter route, so you have the option to cross over there to the other trail. In 2021, while I was backpacking in Yosemite, I took the lower Mist Trail past Verna Falls, and then took the crossover to the upper part of the John Muir Trail. In 2022, when I did the JMT, I took the JMT straight up and skipped the Mist Trail entirely. In my opinion, the lower section of the Mist Trail is more scenic than the lower section of the JMT. It's really must see if you haven't done it before. I also really enjoyed the crossover trail when I did it because it offers unique views between the two trails. The top section of the JMT is also really beautiful with iconic views of Nevada Falls. I think doing the lower Mist Trail to the crossover and then the upper half of the John Muir Trail would be an excellent route up. So this would be the exact opposite of the actual winter route, obviously assuming these trails are open. As far as the upper Mist Trail, this is the one section I haven't done. So if you've done this section along with the upper JMT, I'd love to hear your thoughts between the two. Right now, I'm thinking I'll take the Mist Trail the entire way this year since it's the only way I haven't done. But it's really tough to pass up that upper section of the JMT. After the top of the Mist Trail, you also have the options to do Half Dome and Clouds Rest. Half Dome does require a permit, although Clouds Rest doesn't. Half Dome is an out and back trail, which means you won't miss any of the JMT. It's such an iconic mountain, and of course has the cable section. Typically, you can expect large crowds on Half Dome unless you do it really early in the morning or late at night. The cables can get congested and are just really intense and incredibly steep. It's definitely not for someone who's afraid of heights, but it is something that you'll probably remember for the rest of your life. However, the views going up the trail and then from the top looking down into the Yosemite Valley are incredible. Half Dome makes for an incredibly intense and memorable side trip on the JMT. Another option that you have is Clouds Rest, which is on a side trail that runs mostly parallel to the JMT. So if you choose this way, you'll probably miss a section of the JMT. In my opinion, most of the Clouds Rest route is more scenic than the JMT section. The JMT section goes through a large burn area which has a bunch of pricker plants that will scratch up your legs. Eventually the trail turns back into a conifer forest and is a long, steady uphill. I do really love that last 10%ish of the JMT as you descend into Sunrise Meadows. The views from there of the Cathedral Range are incredible. On the Clouds Rest route, you'll obviously go over Clouds Rest, but also past Sunrise Lakes. The trail is fairly challenging since there are some significant ups and downs. Clouds Rest itself is a big climb, but offers good views not too far up the trail. While it's a popular and sometimes crowded trail, I didn't find it to be anywhere near as crowded as Half Dome. I shared the summit with only one other person, where Half Dome had dozens of other people. From the top, the view looking down towards Half Dome is incredible. It also offers some amazing views of the terrain you're headed towards on the JMT, along with some of its surrounding peaks. After the long but pretty descent down from Clouds Rest, you'll arrive at Sunrise Lakes, which makes for a great place for lunch or to set up camp. If you do go this route, I would also plan to take a bit of time to enjoy Sunrise Meadow, where you connect back with the JMT. To me, it might even be worth backtracking maybe a quarter mile on the JMT to experience some of the views walking into Sunrise Meadow. Ultimately, if you have the time, I would recommend doing both Half Dome and Clouds Rest. They're both big climbs, but totally worth the experience. After Sunrise Meadows and into Tuolumne and beyond, the trail is a little more straightforward, although there are other side trail options. Back in 2021, when I was backpacking through Yosemite, I stayed at Young Lakes just outside of Tuolumne Meadows, and it was probably one of my best nights ever camping. So I'm also considering that this year. I checked with the Yosemite Ranger to make sure this would be allowed under my permit, and he said as long as it's within one continuous hike, it would be fine. So I'm sure there are other places just off the JMT that are just as incredible. One last side trip off the JMT in Yosemite that I've done is to Vogelsang. There are a few different route options to get there, so you can avoid any backtracking. I don't think this will be in the cards for me this summer, but I wanted to throw it out there because it is an incredible place. Let me know if you have any side trails off the JMT that you'd recommend. Alright, well that's it for this video. Please subscribe if you haven't. I've got a bunch of other upcoming hikes planned along with the JMT. So I'll see you out on the trail.